Alright, hello again. I wanted to show one thing that actually was really helpful to me that took me a little bit of time to wrap my head around for doing weaving with these wefts with the really long transitions in them. So basically, this is what it looks like in the ball. It's all pretty and has long transitions, and I've got the piece. Normally I wouldn't do this with singles, but it's acrylic, so we're going to do it anyway. Coming out of the center. So as I'm weaving along, you start, you go, and then you get to the end. So you can't see it terribly well there, but guess what? As you would expect, that part there, it's the same color as this part here. So far so good, right? Well, good, because that just means we just start weaving again, right? Well, here's the problem. If I start winding this right onto this, this is going to be that's all great, right? So we're winding on some pink, and the pink's awesome, and things are going well. And then the color starts to transition to something that's darker than that pink, and then oh look, here comes some purple, and it's all really pretty, and it's still going on. But if I cut it here now, see that color? That's purple. It doesn't match this pink anymore. So if I start weaving now, I'm going to have this really abrupt color transition, and it's going to jump, and it's not going to gradate nicely. So in order to avoid that, instead of winding right from the ball, or right from the skein, or right from whatever your put up is, onto the shuttle, gotta do something else. So, easiest way to do it when I'm not getting funky machines involved and using them to wind things for me, and ultimately same premise anyway, is make a cat ball. So, when I make the cat ball, that first color that I want is on the inside of the cat ball. So as I wind my cat ball together, and now the cat ball starts to change colors, and the outside of the cat ball gets darker. And we start to get towards something less hot pink, and then it goes through this like pretty pale pink and into a sort of lilac, and then into this purple, and then it gets darker purple. We'll pull some more out, and we'll get to a point where it's really dark purple, so you can see. So seeing really dark purple, so we go for a while until the ball's the size that you want for what you want to wind onto your shuttle. So usually I do them actually a pretty good size, but I'm going to stop for the video. So I go somewhere near the middle of a color transition, so I'm not changing right at the edge of one. I pop it in my trusty elf mug over there. And now what I have is that dark purple that was the last thing we were pulling out of the ball. Now that's going to be going right up against the wood of the shuttle here. And that now becomes the inside of my shuttle. So there's some nice dark purpley colors on the inside of my shuttle. Now it's starting to get pinky. Now we're coming to the end of the cat ball, and see, very pink, much different color than what we started with. And you can kind of see some of the layers of color that are on there now. So we want to keep the colors in order of what they come on the ball. So this allows us to do that, because now when I start to weave, The two pinks, they match up because these two were the pieces I cut apart from each other, the end that I have in my weaving and the end that's now on my shuttle. So all I'm going to have is a little bit of overlap of those edges, and I'm going to continue on in the gradation that I had. So the color repeat's going to continue on naturally, and I'm going to get this nice transition through dark, through light, all the way up through the scarf. And by doing this in between each time I need to change, I'm going to maintain the color transitions that are in the yarn, and take best advantage of those yarns, like this particular acrylic or like a Noro or something that has really nice, beautiful, long color repeats in it. And I suppose realistically you can do it with anything that has a pattern or a color variation within this game that you want to maintain, something that isn't really short. Something really short, you're probably not going to get a real pattern out of it, but with this, where you do get a really strong pattern from it, and where that really is the interest visually in the scarf. This is plain weave, there's nothing special about the weave, but combining this long repeat, really long repeat yarn for my warp, which gives me these stripes, and then using this long color repeat weft that gives me these sections and then grades in from one color to the next, gives me this really nice graphic result in the scarf. So someone had made a comment in one video or book or something that I saw that said, if you're using the color repeats, you got to wind a ball into it, and my brain went, why do I have to do that, and got really confused. And then I sat down and broke it down and went, oh, that's probably one of the most useful things I've heard about weaving plain weave with color. So I figured I would share it so that perhaps it would be useful to someone else, and perhaps someone else wouldn't have to hurt their head quite so much as I did trying to wrap it around exactly what that means, and mentally taking the yarn and moving it in different places to try to make that make sense. Anyway, works really well. I'm loving what this how this works, and if I was using a plain colored weft, I wouldn't need to do that. I could just wind it straight out of the put up, whether it was a skein that I had on a Swift, or whether it was a ball, or whether it was a pull ball, whatever it is, I could just do it straight up if it was a plain. But with these color transitions that I want to maintain them the way that they were dyed, this is the way to do that. So hope that helped. Cheers.